What is going on, guys? Well, it's that time of the year again. It's the holidays. I've already had a couple of questions from some people about some tips and tricks to avoid completely derailing yourself in your progress during this period of time. It's been something that I've struggled with. I still continue to kind of struggle with it. It's going to be one of those things where the more you practice and the more you go through it, the better you're going to get with it in terms of getting through the holidays, but not completely derailing yourself. I've totally been there before where you walk into something and you walk out and you're scratching your head going, what did I just do? It just completely hits you out of left field. And before you know it, the damage is done. I figured I'd put together a list of some tips and some tricks that have helped me out through the years. Give them a shot. Maybe they'll help you out too. So tip one, know what you're walking into. If it's a first time event, something you haven't done in the past or do year after year after year, it's not reoccurring. It's one of those things that's really tough to like prepare yourself for that or to kind of know what's going on. But there are events, gatherings and so on and so forth, like that happen year after year after year, are reoccurring. And so you kind of have an idea, if you're going over to grandma's Christmas or you're going over to mom and dad's, and you know kind of what to expect, you at least have an idea of what is going to be coming your direction. So you can at least, you're not going to be, once again, you're not going to be hit out of left field. It's going to be one of those things where you know that mom's going to have a big buffet table of cookies. You know where those are every year. So you can kind of prepare yourself for what's coming. Tip number two, go in with a plan. At least having a plan is better than just walking in with nothing. And that goes for anything you're doing. Go in with something that you've worked out beforehand so that when it comes time to make decisions, you already here know what's going on. And you can at least adhere to that. That includes training, that includes meal prep, anything. Should always go in with a plan. So going with a plan, this is what I'm going in with. This is what I'm going to consume. So that way, when you get to that point, like I said, you've already consciously made some of those decisions. So it's a little bit easier. Tip number three, set limits. There's absolutely nothing wrong with giving yourself some leeway for the holidays. I'm going to eat something for dessert, but it's just going to be a piece of pie. I'll have a couple of cookies for dessert. The problem when you don't set limits on yourself is, like I've been in this situation, when you have to walk by the goodie table, no plan, not setting limits. The problem becomes when you don't set limits, let's say you walk by a goodie table, 10 or 12 or 15 times when you're at somebody's house and it's like conveniently placed. So every time, you're just like in a main traffic area, the problem becomes every single time you walk by that table, you're picking something. I found myself in this position before. You're picking something. And so it's not a problem to do it one time. It becomes a problem though when you've done it 12 or 15 times. It's a 100 calorie cookie. Oh, whoopity do. But when you do it 12, 15, 18 times, well, that's a lot of calories. so so set limits. Give yourself, you're going to allow yourself some freedom. You're going to allow yourself some space and some wiggle room. That's fine. Set limits. I found that to be extremely helpful because I have that piece of pie and I'm like, no, I'm done. I don't, you know what? I don't need to have a second piece. I allowed myself this much and I don't need to go any further with it. Tip number four, and this is more geared towards like more family gatherings, make your own stuff. This also works, I guess, for potlucks, but I guess it would work for anything. It's one of those things where if you're going to somebody's house, they're making all the food. Show up with a few dishes that you made yourself and just say, "Hey, I figured I would bring at least a dish and a dessert." But you can make those dishes and desserts a little bit healthier, and then guess what? Then you can sit down, you can eat most of your own stuff, and congratulations, you're now consuming food that you've prepared, you know what's in it, and once again, it's conforming to your standards, whatever your standards are. Tip number five is another one that I found extremely helpful for me personally, but that's don't graze. If you can avoid grazing, where you're picking throughout the day. If there's going to be a sit down dinner, walk in beforehand and know that you're only going to eat at that sit down dinner and that's it. You're not going to eat anything else. I've been in that position before too, where you're grazing all throughout the day, and it piles up. It goes right along with the set limits tip. You've done really well at like the sit down dinner, but you spent all day grazing. And so, and you piled on all those calories just from picking here and picking there. So a great tip is don't graze. Tip number 6, another one that kind of hits home for me, is don't drink to excess. I found that if I've had a few too many drinks in the past, that my discipline level it'll go out the window. And before you know it, it just leads to screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And once again, walk away going, what did I do? So have a drink, have a couple of drinks. But if you're really looking to not derail yourself, my advice is don't drink to excess. You watch your standards, you watch your level of discipline, your fortitude. You watch it just go right out the window. So avoid that if you can. Tip number 7 is be active. Don't be lethargic all day. Don't be sitting all day. I found that on holidays at some time of the day, either really, first thing in the morning, or sometime either maybe before the meal or maybe a little bit after the sit down meal, I will plan some gym time. I will go to the gym and I'll do some kind of a workout. I found it extremely helpful to be active that day. Even if you just go out for a walk, if you're traveling, you don't have a gym membership, it's tougher. It's probably not staffed anyway. It's tougher for you to get into a gym setting. Just go for a walk. Just take a half an hour and just go out for a walk, and like I said, do something, be active. That helps instead of sitting around all day and being lethargic. So try and be active if you can. And finally, tip number 8, because it's going to happen. I'm there almost every year, is forgive yourself. Know that you're going to screw up. Know that you are going to fall off the wagon. The most important thing is don't fall off the wagon and then throw your hands up in the air and say screw it and then just binge eat from there on. There's that trap of, well, I've already screwed up, so I might as well just keep screwing up. It just makes it worse. If you happen to move outside the realm of your plan, you could at any point, that's the beauty of the situation, you could at any point say, whoa, okay, all right, stop. I screwed up, but I don't need to make it any worse. And forgive yourself and just understand that, it's okay at the end of the day, especially if you've put the brakes on and you've stopped and you said that's at least one thing you can cling on to right there. You stopped and you're not going to let it go any further. And you can at least walk away from that and go, hey, I fell off the wagon, but I'm back on the wagon. So I've been there where it's that screw it mentality. And before you know it, you just feel worse. You feel worse at the end of the day. So forgive yourself, know that it might happen. And if it does, just make sure the most important thing at that point, falling off, is to get back on the wagon and keep going. So anyway, asked by a couple of people about it. Those are some tips and some things that have helped me throughout the years to not completely derail, but once again, to allow myself a little bit of leeway, to have a little bit of fun. I spend most of my year, being really strict. And so this is a time of the year where nothing in terms of competitions are going on. So that's the thing. Finding balance is key here. That's absolutely the thing. Finding balance is the key to the equation. Not swinging both sides, finding that perfect balance on the pendulum there. So anywho, I said it in my last video, I'll say it again. No matter what you celebrate, if you celebrate, I hope you have a great rest of the week, great weekend. Enjoy some food, enjoy some time with your families and your friends. As always, I appreciate your support of the channel. If you liked the video, throw me a like. If you have any questions or comments, throw a comment up there. Share it with people who might benefit from it. And finally, I will throw a link to my last video right over here if you didn't get a chance to watch that. And I will, if you're finding value from the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll throw that subscribe button right here. So all you got to do is click on it to subscribe. Makes it easy on you. Once again, I appreciate all your support, and I hope you have a fantastic end of the week. Take care.